and gentlemen, forgiveness have been debated by philosophers and they have contrasting definition relating to forgiveness. Today, I am here to tackle about an essay by Joseph Seifert that discusses forgiveness on its varied forms, the impact to the victims and offender, and anything that can be associated to it. As for the thesis, I argue that forgiveness should be an elective act granted by the victim, and the only concern of the victim should be to decide if forgiveness is appropriate. The first main point of the essay states that, despite its broad scope, forgiveness should be done as collaborative effort of the victim and the offender. For forgiveness should not be given unless the offender asks to be forgiven. It should be in a form of communicative act that requires direct communication to the recipient. Forgiveness divides the direction of your heart and mind. Forgiveness is the response if moral equality has not been recognized, but humans have the nature to be loving, making it possible to forgive others. Another thing, regardless of the damage the offender caused to the victim, forgiveness is defined as an obligatory gift. Seifert stated that forgiveness as initiated serves as obligation to the offended persons because the act of performing it is considered as moral goodness and is part of morality itself. After talking about the main points of the essay, let us discuss the three objections of each point. On contrary to the first main point, forgiveness lessens the value of self-dignity. To the reason that even though forgiveness requires mutual understanding of the victim and the offender, there is no complete guarantee that the offender could change his or her unethical behavior. Second objection, forgiveness oppresses the emotion of oneself. As mentioned in point 2, that forgiveness is rooted in love, forgiveness burdens the victims, making them uncomfortable and making it evident that the misdeed of the offender exceeds its limits. Third, forgiveness manipulates self-autonomy. So relating it to the second point, the victim should have the freedom to forgive his or her offenders if she or he decides to forgive them or not. It manipulates self-autonomy to the very reason that of depriving one's right to decide for themselves. The discussion that have been mentioned above gives complex characteristics of forgiveness. In response to the first objection, self-respect takes place after the occurrence of vicious acts that express the right to demand of rightful treatment. Second, granting forgiveness should be anchored by love that are genuine and authentic. Through the light of love, forgiveness can be authentic that makes it possible to forgive even the cases of grave and terrible misdeeds. Forgiving does not change the judgment of the misdeed caused by the offender. Forgiveness should be an elective act, and the offender does not have the right to demand for forgiveness. The victim have the right to forgive or either not to forgive the offender because obligated forgiveness manipulates self-autonomy. Self-respect, self-love, and self-autonomy are interrelated to each other in the sense that these three must be present to say that you have granted authentic forgiveness. It could save yourself from the past injustices and a chance to heal yourself from the damage.